guys, it's Allie here with George Abraham, Product Manager for Indigo Studio.
Hi, glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us. So, when an enterprise is moving from desktop to web, what kind of change should developers expect to see?
Well, I would say you should always expect change. Just because the application is already in place, it doesn't mean it's going to be an easy port to desktop mode, from desktop to web. And that's because things change. Just like you expect technology infrastructure to change, the patterns also change of how users actually interact with your application. As the business evolves, you find new things. There's always room for improvement. So how do you actually manage that change? So you're not trying to fight it. How do you manage that change? By trying out ideas quickly, by being able to present it to the target audience, get that buy-in early on.
And how would Indigo Studio as a prototyping solution help manage that change?
So Indigo Studio is a way in which you don't actually have to touch your existing code base to try out this idea. So you want to be exposing your stakeholders or exposing even your team to, hey, here's the new change I was talking about, and give it a representation. You're afraid that users are going to be scared of this change, but that may not be the case. Once you show it to them, they'll be like, why didn't you guys think of this before? Right? This is awesome. Let's do this. Right? So that's what this prototyping solution is, to experience that piece of functionality even before you touch that code base. Right? So with prototyping using Indigo Studio, what you're essentially doing, you're front loading the risk. You're not worried about whether this is going to take off or not. You know it up front whether this is going to be a good idea or not. Because investing developer time to even create prototypes using code is an expensive proposition, and that cost is really hidden. And in the total cost of ownership, what you realize that you have ended up paying way more for this project by building the wrong things and then trying to fixing them in code. Only after you see the experience, even technical architects can talk about the technical infrastructure needed to support this.
Is there anything specific you're going to be talking about in your webinar as it relates to migration from desktop to web?
I'm going to be talking about some specific strategies for people who are not familiar with prototyping, right? So just to get them introduced to how prototyping works in Indigo Studio, right? Those are the basic fundamentals. But on top of that, I might show you some specific techniques like collaging. And I know it sounds like something which you know of, but collaging in terms of interactive would mean you maybe take a screenshot of the application, put it in the background, and you only prototype the new functionality. And that way you can actually get started and have that final experience or solution done way more quickly. The second thing I might talk about is the work we are doing on making UI libraries or custom UI libraries more shareable. So when you're working on an application redesign, there are some patterns you would like to extract from your existing application and want to make it available for anybody who's doing these prototypes to say, hey, here's a library of widgets which I extracted from our existing application. Make sure you use this. Or you can have new functionality also embedded as these UI libraries, which we call screen pods.
So where do I sign up for the webinar?
So you can go to Infragistics.com and find that information on our homepage, or you can use the link below.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to us, George.
Thanks, Ali.
We'll see you there.